and Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall because he...
79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
Where in the hell? Hey, what's up, fellas? I got super chats. We'll get to those in a sec. I was like having a little mini fight with the old lady this morning. It's so funny. First off, I lost the other half of my earpiece. I don't know where the hell it is. It's somewhere skidded around the floor, so we're going single ear like a CIA asset. Anyways, got some new Hawaiian shirts. They're a little bit bigger than normal, but I'm liking what I got so far. And she goes, yeah, between this and the hair, and I'm like, what I'm trying to go for is like disavowed CIA asset blending in with the thing. And she's like, no, it looks more like I'm a divorced dad and I've been working on this book for 5 years and it's almost ready, and start drinking Coronas and going, fuck, it's not the look I want. It's not the look I want. Anyways, welcome, fellas. Get to the super chats quickly and then we'll get to the thing. $4.99 by Sighthound Siege. Sup, Couch. Sup, Iggy. Enjoying the Substacks? I'm glad you are. The essays are great and the field report workshop replays are a good listen, ad-free with keyboard typing ASMR. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like the essays, that's kind of where I'm going to get into on this one here. So obviously, I haven't been doing as much YouTube content, mostly because it's like income-wise, it's a bit of a slog. The opportunity cost isn't there, so I've been doing more blogging, essaying, whatever you want to call it, substacking, and it's nice. So, for example, One More Please deleted all his stuff, and he's got reasons. We've talked about it before. Not that it's important, but so what I do is all of his best essays, I just like, you mind if I borrow these? He goes, sure. So I take them, I kind of retool them a bit, redraft them. It's kind of like it's like taking Ninja Turtles and making it for modern audiences, only it's not gay and doesn't suck. And then reposting them, getting out there, because and there's like tons of stuff that's, oh, you could easily go see this from, it's like, no, you can't, man. No, you can't. You want to go find a Whisper essay? Whisper got banned off of Reddit. And TRP Reds, which most people don't even know exists, but like being able to search through his stuff is basically impossible. So this stuff is essentially abandonware. And so I'm taking the attitude of a lot of guys did with old DOS games in the 80s and 90s, where they're just calling it abandonware and they're releasing it for others, right? And then obviously with some things, there's things that have been kind of like tuned over years. Maybe it's a little less accurate. Maybe it's a bit more correct. Maybe there was some predictions that didn't work. Like, so for example, I grabbed, there's this, it's like a series. I don't do much on it. I call them the Red Pill interviews. And that was back in the day. A lot of people who were internet famous in the 2000s and 2010s used to come to the subreddit and have like an Ask Me Anything. There was MRA famous Karen Strawn, and anybody who was on the internet in the early mid 2000s on YouTube remembers Karen. There was M3, the guy who was the 12-year incel, had that very famous Confessions of a Reformed Incel thing. And Milo Yiannopoulos, of all people, showed up, which was interesting reading through that one. Mostly because he had a whole bunch of predictions that did not come true. Like, oh, everything is going to get better. Guys will rise up, and like everything got so much worse. So much worse. My favorite one is there was a feminist he was debating, Rachel something or other, who was popular at the time. And he goes, yeah, well, I mean, she was like very cordial. It was kind of an act, and she was acting like the bitchy feminist on the thing here. And I like to think I helped her out. And I like to think people are getting better after being exposed to this. And I'm like, I'm curious. It's been 10 years, 12 years. Let's go look into that. Not only has she gotten worse, she's gotten more prestigious. She has like she went from the feminist arguing about gamers and shit like that with Milo Yiannopoulos. Now she's got Netflix specials, new books, workshops, conferences. She's basically crushing it. And had I known this, I might have started shitting on men in games if I could have gotten Softbone or Ghost of Odessa onto a Netflix series. But I enjoy it for the fact that you can go see like, oh, this is what things were like back then. Oh, and like we weren't flawless. It's like the Mids watch. I love how I ended that series, and I've noticed like even though it's a huge subversion of expectations, nobody felt hoodwinked or cheated by it. If you guys don't know the Mids Watch series, I shouldn't even spoil it, but if you haven't watched them by now and you're on this podcast, you probably, I don't know what to tell you. But it was a huge series of red pill guys solving real problems, predominantly from a character pen named Jack Ten of Hearts. And a lot of the stuff we do now is kind of based on those. He's kind of like a Solomon 2 book from Rouge V days, or book of Joe Hill. A lot of the old stuff, like a rational male type thing. And then at the end, the very last episode, it was basically him throwing a little temper tantrum at me for saying that he's not always right about stuff, but at least he makes you understand if he's wrong, you have to know why he's wrong. So it forces you to be self-reflective in that. And he got really pissed off about that, to which I gave him an example of frame. He's shitting on me, calling me this, calling me that. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. And so everybody kind of realized, like, we're not specialists or gods or authorities. It's just a bunch of dudes, man. And I like that because it's probably one of the most, and I hate how I have to use this language, but it's accurate here, the most empowering part of the subversion of expectations with the Mids Watch. The idea that you're watching authorities, intellectuals, scholars, whatever you want to use, and I'm using the list there on purpose, telling you how things are, how to live, what life is good, what you got to think about, and then understanding it's like the power was always yours. You're just as capable, if not more so, than anybody else in this space. Don't let Bugatti driving, human trafficking, rape women, kickboxing dudes tell you otherwise. And then the workshop replays. Yeah, so for the workshops, I mean, that's par for the course. It's a teaching environment, but it's meant to be more casual. I remember Rollo and I were talking about this back when we did the Rule Zero conference that had to be moved online because of some COVID bullshit. But we liked the idea of workshops. Like the conference, it sounded great, made big money and, whatever. Caused a lot of drama. But he liked the idea of what he called man-in-demand conferences. If you don't remember, those are the old Christian McQueen ones. And if you don't even know who that is, holy jeez, there's some history lessons to get into. Clever little person, got kind of bullied out of the space, but whatever. I always enjoyed his company. But yeah, it was like not conferences, but just like little workshops. 12 guys sitting there swapping notes, and I thought that was just perfect. So that's kind of what the workshop is. And a lot of the time, because I don't want it to just turn into like a Dear Abby thing. So when guys are talking about my particular problem here or the thing that I tried to do here, and we have an accompanying piece that's somewhere in the red pill, and there's almost always something that can reflect like your exact situation, I just post in there. It's like, here's notes from other people. Swap away. And it kind of gives ideas and direction to guys who otherwise wouldn't have it without positioning me as some kind of arbitrator of knowledge. It's really more of a facilitator. But yeah, so the typing is because like I remember the keywords. Almost always I have to remember like, oh yeah, this thing, I haven't seen it in like 10 years. Managed to find it though. Pretty impressive. That's my one skill when I learned from the military. If you guys don't know, I used to be top secret military communications. The trade was called naval communicator, which was a combination of RADOPS, radio operator, and signalman. So the flag guys and the radio guys. Then we added the IT guys onto it. But essentially that was like 3 careers wrapped into one. And so you couldn't learn everything. So what you had to do is get really good at the skill of knowing where to find the information you needed, because everything's written down. You just got to find it. And that's been the one very useful skill now, where no matter what happens in the red pill, I can more often than not remember where to go to find it. So kudos to Scott Adams. He doesn't like me and I don't like him. but his talent stack idea was pretty good. And then $4.99 for John Douglas. Hey, what's up, buddy? Bad news for the Foids. Ryan woke up. You know what? It's like, when it comes to calling Foids and like the 4chan language, I'm hesitant. I kind of get what Foid is. It's meant to just be like a generic slur. I'm sure there's an etymology behind it. I don't know it. I've heard like 4 different stories on it. I don't know which one is true, if any of them are. But that's the idea. You call a girl a Foid, and it's meant to be kind of dismissive. Like, Foid, get out of here. But I always try not to use a lot of that language if I can help it, because I find it's alienating. Because there's an inside group that knows it, and everybody else on the outside, it just makes you sound autistic. But I'm not, like, I don't hate it either. So, like, when I hear it, it doesn't really faze me. I don't care. I think it's fucking hilarious. And I think that kind of is, like, the same reason why in Frame and Dread, I try to use as little jargon as possible. And I know I've not succeeded 100% at that. There is a definitely amount of insider knowledge you kind of need to get through those books. But, hey. Anyways, yeah, way better than my look. Look works, own it. I mean, what do you think I'm doing? I literally just bought new shit. I got 2. I got this one. It's pink and blue. And the other one is like one of those deep red sunset ones. I don't know if I like it. But I figured I'd try it out. Problem is they're a little oversized in the shoulders. So I kind of want to get the size smaller, which I guess I wear a medium now. Who'da thunk? Anyways. The first podcaster of this space. Sadly enough, I think I am. I really do. Because like we originally, well, I guess the first Red Pilled podcast I can think of, and I don't count Coach Red Pill on that because he really wasn't, or maybe he was, or Greg Adams or Kevin Samuels or Samuel Kevins, the black dude, the one who died with the hookers. Donovan probably gets the credit for being the first one. But it's hard to tell, man. Like, was he Red Pill because he was in the group, or was he Hotep just acting Red Pill? I don't know. But you see what I mean? It's like there's a spectrum, and it's really hard to say. But I'll take credit for being the first podcast of this space, because when we had our Red Man groups, which was the Rule Zero guys now, with that Anthony Johnson fellow, that's how we kind of got our start. And it's still funny. I think they're all still up. But you go look at them, and it's such a different cast of characters, man. Like Rolo with his short hair, dressed rather sharply, like a respectable person. And now you look at him, it's like, holy shit, he and Slash are getting back together to redo Chinese democracy. Then you see me, clean cut, corporate haircut, corporate tan, dressed very sharply. And now you look, it's like, what the hell happened to him? Is he melting? Yeah, no, I mean, I get that. Yeah. Oh, McQueen. Did he have one? Oh, I guess he did. That's right. It was an audio-only podcast. Man in Demand. I remember that now. Now, he's the first online course guy for the Red Pill. It is Kevin Samuels. Thank you very much. And I guess if you really want to get into it, you want to call it, everybody gives Lycus or Patrice the credit for being the first one, which, you know, I think in fairness, that's probably correct, because Opie and Anthony definitely don't get the credit, and neither does, who's that idiot shock jock? The one who's, like, terrified of COVID now. I don't know why. I can't remember his name, but either way, yeah, they don't get it. You guys joke. But if I thought it would sell, I would absolutely lean on the Funko Pop. It took me forever to learn what the hell a Funko Pop was, man. I was like, I've been around long enough. I just have never seen one. I didn't know what they were until finally somebody explained to me they're like those bobbleheads, but it's a specific brand of bobblehead. They're called Funko Pops, and it's basically everything. And I found that out back when there was a TikTok trend of people having these weird, they're not Kinder, you guys remember Kinder Eggs? They're like Kinder Eggs, but there's no chocolate. It's just a package, and inside is like brands. So like Hershey's, and you get like a Hershey's thing, and people were collecting all of them. Like, wait a minute, you're just collecting brand logos in like a Kinder Egg surprise, like Pokemon cards? Like, yeah, and it's great. I was like, fuck, that's brilliant. just selling your name, and not even your name, like loot crates. So like you have to buy 500 of them. You probably have like 50 Hershey's Kisses, and all you were trying to find is an M&M's. That's the one. That's the one. Wait, Funko Pops don't even boggle? What the hell? That's dumb as shit. I think the closest I've got is and apparently this is rare as shit. But like I have from Google. I had some friends who worked at Google. And that was one day they let me sit on a meeting and I got to have one of these little small Android bubbles. I've looked it up online. Apparently it's worth like $500. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I guess I better not lose the box. But that's kind of a cool thing to have. Anyways, is that like a Labubu? I don't even know what a Labubu is. I've heard the word because they have this stupid Toronto accent that everybody likes to talk about, which I fucking hate it, man. I don't know if you've ever heard this. If you go look it up, it's like Toronto accent. And it's not the Canadian accent they're used to. This new one is like a mix of third world slop. And you know that Indian, like, that part of the accent? And like that with Toronto slang. And it just sounds like a clownish. It makes us sound retarded. It's got that upwards tick to it. That millennial what? Where everything ends in a question shit. I can't stand it. I only have a Rick Sanchez, Morty, and Pickle Rick, and I was done because they don't even stand on their own. How do you not laugh at this shit? All right. Let me refresh here. We're just gonna be fucking around, and I don't want to be the guy that just rambles about his opinions for that shit. Let's, you know what? Because we were talking about Man in Demand, let's put the old classics up.
Boom, what's up, fam? Got some big news to share that unfortunately is not so good, so I'm gonna jump right into it. You're gonna watch this video and you're gonna cry. At least we can laugh at your eyes as you cry, looking in the corner like a little f***ing girl in the fetal position.
I just realized the Labubu is China capitalizing on our tarts. Oh. Fuck, can't go wrong with that. Anyways, before I get started, Ghost of Odessa out. Grab the paperback. Look, some of you guys like hardcovers. You got a banger hardcover. Great paperback. The Kindle, I've actually learned there's... So the technology surrounding making Kindles is as simple or as complex as you want. If you guys have gotten the earlier ebooks, I mostly used what's called Kindle Create. And that's a very standard stock, always looks good. But one thing I found I could do is there's this other software that I can't remember the name of right now. I'd have to go look at my computer for it. I'm not about to start clicking some ASMR for you. But it allows you to customize the CSS in your ebooks. And so for Ghost of Odessa and Prax 4, I think those were the first two books where I started using it. As far as ebooks go, like it's as close as you get to a book looking beautiful. It's got all the original typefaces that I've used for the paperback. So like if you don't know, and this is just small details. Like you see how the inner title is? That's a specific graphic design thing I do. This one here is a Universe Black Extended, like that Welcome to Gopher Space thing. That's meant on purpose. There's like, it's hard to explain why, but that's been a trope amongst high-tech stuff in forever. That the squat, wide, black text fonts scream high-tech. And then there's another part. I mean, obviously I use Grandos for like the original Axe, which is the same one technically that's used here. And... where am I going to find it? There we go. I don't know why, but like, so this one here, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, the typeface. They use it a lot in like films from the 70s, whenever they want to do high tech, 60s and 70s. So if you ever watched, what's the damn movie? Colossus, the Forbin Project, or 3 Days from the Condor. I think even Planet of the Apes have it. Anyways, so it's like that retro futurism bit here, which I like because it's like I borrow a lot of that sensibility of people who have watched old stuff that's meant to be the future, but the future was 10 years ago. You know, like the year is 1997 and the Earth has been nuked, and you're like, it's 2006, what the hell? Or Snake Plissken, I guess all that shit happened in 2014 or something like that. I just love those, so... I like the idea that this technically is cyberpunk, but it's not futuristic. It happened in the past, but the past was like 2014, which is kind of a layered irony because most of the stuff is satirically exaggerated versions of what's happened in like 2014. And so the idea of the future of tomorrow is today, but it's literally today. It tickles me. It's a small detail. None of you have probably thought about it, but it's like all these little things. I love doing this when it comes to creating a work for you guys. I like layering meaning into it. And so like almost nobody will get it, but those few who do can really appreciate it. Like, oh, that's clever. Oh, that's nice. That's entertaining. So yeah. Hey, let's see. We got Nuke, Daniel, Sub, Cassette Futurism. Dude, that's a clever term. I'm stealing that. Hey, by the way, what's this I hear? Johnny's got a new book. It's what was it, the black superhero one? God damn it. I know the photo. It's the guy with the white outfit and the fucking dreads. And it's like classic superhero. It's very sincere, no ironic, like the boys bullshit. Do me a favor, throw a link on it, because I can't remember what it was called right now to search for it, and I don't want to be hunting it online. But I am curious. It's on my to-do list. I'm still going through Camp of the Saints. I am taking my sweet fucking time in Camp of the Saints. I will admit, it's not making me angry, but if I was the kind of person who got emotional over reading a book, it would make me angry. Because like, this sounds really familiar. Everything about it. Anyways, so the topic we were talking about was everything is turning into gender slop. If you don't know the cover, it's a mishmash of, do you remember You Can't Do That on Television? It was an old 80s, I think it was Canadian TV show, and they put it on Nickelodeon. You may remember people like Alanis Morissette was on it. I think, what the hell's Deadpool guy? Ryan Reynolds, I think, was on it too. And all the Canadian child actors that were meant to be something. They had like a proto Homer Simpson and Marge on the show. The Homer's name was Barth or Garth. I think it was Barth. Yeah, Barth. And then Marge was literally Marge. Like she always had like those those rubber gloves you wear when you're washing dishes. She had those on. Anyways, it's super interesting to see The Simpsons before The Simpsons. So Tracy Ullman definitely was watching that show and caught on to it. There it is, Lionheart Iron, icon of justice. I'm curious about it. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to grab it yet. Okay, so it doesn't drop to the 4th. So I'm not late to the party yet, which is good. I haven't read superhero fiction, so I'm kind of curious. Like, I don't know, as a genre, will I like it? Will I not like it? Will I like your book in spite of the genre? Will I like the genre and your book? I don't know. I'm just going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Plus, a lot of people do enjoy this stuff, so why not, right? Oh, so it's a mix mash of that and the UK, I'm going to use YouTube language here, grooming gangs. And I hate that I have to say that because I want to talk about grape. Because like a little bit of the George Carlin, I hate euphemistic language. It softens the blow. And when you call it grooming gangs, it sounds like you're cutting the hair of fucking dogs, When in reality, what were they doing? They were systematically diddling at least 250,000 Brits over the last generation. At least. The reason I can't say definitively, even though there's the big report on it out right now, is that the UK government was literally hiding evidence to make it more factual, obfuscating things, little demographic tricks. So it's kind of, and then I'm getting to how this gets into the red pill side of things. I promise it's not just stripped daily from the headlines. There is a red pill side of this, which is funny. And what I want to impart, that by the time you get to the end of this podcast, you will start to see everything through that gendered lens and understanding how a lot of what we have now are not these individual problems of crazy evil people, but it really is just male biology versus female biology in a gynocentric social order and all the interesting ways they kind of percolate up throughout. So Rupert Lowe? I think it's Rupert Lowe. The why do they all have to be named like R or something? There is Restore and there's Reform. I think it's Restore. Restore is the good one. Basically, the Reform ones were saying, like, we're going to kick out the migrants, and they wanted more migrants, so everybody left Reform to join Restore. So now it's basically, instead of saying make America great again, it's like Restore Britain, and everything else is just left unsaid. But a bunch of volunteers, including a couple of the guys from the Lotus Eaters podcast, collected a massive amount of witness testimony, court records, every piece of information they could, and they made what's called a qual study. There's two types of research that you can do. There's qual and there's quant. And if you don't know, the difference is qual, or I guess we'll start with quant. Quant's the easy one to define. Quant is numbers. That is, you isolate the variable on a system and you test that variable against your hypothesis. So, does cutting calories lose weight? How much weight do you lose by cutting calories? And they will take a bunch of people and they will give them identical diets and then reduce one's diet by 500, leave one as a baseline, add 500 to the other, and then do comparisons there. And you'll find out, yes, by cutting 500 calories, you will lose 1 pound of fat a week or something like that. It's what you think of when you think of science. Qual is qualitative. And what that means is we're not entirely sure which questions to ask yet. We need to gather more information, and then you take all of this disparate information and put it together and develop further hypotheses to which you can test in a quant. And that's a pretty lay definition. I'm sure there's a science guy here that's going to actually, like, fuck, relax. We're a lay audience talking to other lay people. Fucking chill. Well, I'm going to hold off on this for a bit, but I'll get to that. Yeah, there's that. I don't know why. I don't know why the UK is like grape capital of Britain or grape capital of the world, but whatever. I just realized my coffee's sitting in the microwave right now. Fuck. I'm going to have to throw an ad for Dog Walker in and go fix my coffee for this. But anyways, I'll finish the preamble. So they did a qual study. And then the qual study is where they kind of gathered all this stuff together, put the idea together. You know, kids were getting groomed. It's mostly northerners, poor people, working class, cops, and religious leaders. Basically, everybody who was any position of authority was, if not willfully blind to it, actively enabling it. And some of the shit in there is just fucking horrific. Look, I'm misogynist as the next guy, but when you got guys going to the cops like, hey, somebody diddled me, I'm 13, and the cops are like, I'll just be glad to give you diversity, get out of here, and then sent him back to the grape house. It's like, dude, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to be the misogynist here, but you guys are fucking horrific. What are you doing? What are we doing here? And it was very interesting to see two responses. The first one was a bunch of overeager, right-wing, conservative type guys with IRA memes. It's like, oh, time for heads to roll, let's kill. Which I'm like, okay, edgelord, fucking relax. You're not a Belfast National. They have a paramilitary organization that's been sitting there. They happen to be ready for this just kind of a thing. You are not. Plus the fact that sitting there talking about this shit online in like meme format is just ridiculous. And then the other side, predominantly women, mostly wealthy, were mocking it. In fairness, all right, I'm going to go off script just for this part because this is like on its own. I found it just hilarious. There is the biggest rhetorical faux pas I've ever seen. So a bunch of women with Steinish last names, or Steinish. It's called Frankenstein. Were arguing that number is way too high, and at most it couldn't have been that high. It had to have been at least 60,000. Now, let me ask you this. If you get a bunch of people of a certain religious and ethnic background arguing about the amount of victims in a horrific crime, where do you think the first argument's going to go from there? I'm just saying, you couldn't have made it funnier if the girls were getting raped behind wooden doors and the grape report was written in a ballpoint pen. I'm just saying. And if you know what I'm talking about here, shame on you. And if you don't, it's funny, but you're a good person. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm going to focus on this one person, Donna Summer. That's what I have on my notes, but I can't remember if that was her actual name or I just wrote the disco star because I thought it was funny how close they were. And she's kind of becoming famous for this video, but I'm going to go grab my coffee and we're going to put on a quick ad because you guys need to read some books. Alyssa was playing with me like a science experiment. What are you doing? I've never seen one from a dark guy before. It's usually pink. She continued examining me as if David Attenborough were narrating. Well, take a look now, it's getting late. Are you kicking me out? She looked as surprised as the last time or any time I've kicked her out. No, not right away, but you know, soon. Actually, wait. "Where are my clothes?" she said as she snapped up her white panties. She never wears the comfortable panties when she comes over. "In the dryer." "Thanks." She tiptoed out of the room. She pulled out a slim pair of denim jeans and a white cotton shirt, just how you'd expect a woman to dress for a movie or the malt shop. A small Christian girl from a small Christian town. She threw her shirt on, and just like that, her wholesome disguise was complete. I sat up, in bed, and reached for my bathrobe. Big white, fuzzy towel of a robe. "Wait, I want to ask you something." "You don't owe me an answer," I said, "but I want to know something." That stain on her shirt was completely gone. I love that damned washing machine. It was worth every penny. "Stop drifting, Rex. Don't lose this thought. Don't you fucking dare." "Yes, the stain is gone," she said. "No, not that. I'm not fucking Mike anymore." "No, not that either. I know that. It's that... the worse I treat you, the better you act." "Okay." She laughs nervously. She's uncomfortable with this conversation that hasn't even started yet. "I kicked you out of my condo, and the next weekend you gave me a blowjob in the hallway. You gave me that whip to play with, and then you told me I was a better lay than Mike. I don't even call you by your real name. I don't get it." "Stalling, just say it. Why do you let me treat you like this?" I have to get one of those done for Softbone and Ghost of Odessa. I know it's kind of like a cheesy format that like AI slop video use, but I kind of like stealing that little bit of it. It almost makes it look like those comic book movies, like, you know, Watchmen, not the Watchmen movie, but where it was like the comic book, but they animate certain parts of it sometimes. I think stylistically it can work. Anyways, I'll do the super chats now. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Really? Really? Oof.
So the memes, they're very good. This is really, they've taken it.
True Alpha
named Ryan Stone.
It says, ask Murphy about the article he wrote, cuckolding his wife. Clear up the cuck article. Clear up the cuck article.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
If I wasn't prepared to literally impoverish his entire bloodline,
I am now concerned for my career.
And I still recommend clear up the cuck article.
You know what? Fuck you for bringing this up. Yeah. Fuck you. Heartfelt.
I'm not going to have those guys back on my channel again. Absolutely not.
Just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
It is just...
That's great. That's you should.
Fuck you.
Sorry, apologies.
Just keep going, dude. One foot in front of the other. Before you know it, this will all be in the rearview mirror. Fuck you.
I guess it's kind of a thing. Like, oh, that was such a densely packed thing. Like, honestly, if you've never watched that ad before or you've never done it, slow it down. It's almost like every frame has references to other stuff. It's all like a series of hundreds of inside jokes in a 12-second clip. I mean, so I'll read the rest in chat once you get it out there, but for now, I think it's Dawn of Summer. I have it in the articles anyway, so I'll just pull it up. Fuck was her stupid name? Donna Rachel. That makes more sense. The dissident counselor. How funny is that? And she's apparently... So anyway, you know what? I'll start at the beginning. So you saw the report. You saw the thing I was talking about. She went up there and she put it on video. She recorded this. She watched it. She's like, yeah, this is good. Run it. And she sent it out. And she started giggling right at the beginning of it. Hee, these silly lads, these silly boys. And then she decided to do the most Redditor thing I've ever seen. And she nitpicked one piece of language from it, where they use county lines to describe the borders between the different counties in Britain. But she said, well, county lines is technically the disposable phones that criminals use when they want to sell drugs. And they'll call them on the county lines, because over there, lines mean phones, I guess. You guys are so stupid. Nobody's going to take you seriously. I tried to I tried to tell you this, and I offered to put you in touch with somebody because I can do it, but I'm not an expert in all the qualifications and that. Now, that got me thinking, oh, this reminds me of some red pill thing I saw in 2014. Put that aside. The guys just fucking lost it. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you laughing? Are you laughing at all these raped children? And oh my god, then they found out she was Jewish? It's like funny, she doesn't look Jewish. It's a John Candy, Mel Brooks joke for you. And that's when all of a sudden the ballpoint pen conversation started. And they went off on that. And then she's a woman, so she's a cunt. And the memes, look, I get it. It's a horrific event. It's horrible. A lot of people died. You got to give credit to the memes. There were some really good ones. The one I saw that made me laugh the hardest was, you remember that whole itty bitty titties in a bob? Those 3 chicks that were doing that stupid little Gen Z dance in the corporate office, and it drove everybody nuts. Well, they dressed them all up as British bobbies, and it's like 3 Pakistani migrants and a preteen doing the dance. I was like, I'm a horrible person for laughing at that. That is too funny. I think I even put some at the very end too. Oh yeah, itty bitty titties and a kebab. So they're funny. And look, like, what else? You got to have a little bit of a laugh on this stuff. This is horrific shit. And if you can't have a little bit of gallows humor, something wrong with you. Because what else are you going to do? Sit here and, I want to start beheading. Slow down, Chachi. And then she went online again. And of course, in typical, like, can't help themselves. Because of you guys, I had to close down the school for, and I guess she runs like a community for all these raped women so they can get together and share stories with each other. To which a lot of the people pointed out, she cries. I guess this is like a meme where they're like, they cry out as victims when they're hitting you. I'm not getting into it. We're not doing that kind of podcast. I'm just telling you right now. But I get it. And then somebody pointed out that so here's the grift. And that's the funny part. Then I'm like, oh, this is why it's starting to look familiar. This is just a grifter. This is no different than Anthony Johnson. This is no different than Corey Capella. This is no different than the 500 X Rule Zero guys that have come and gone over the years that are just absolute trash with like AI slop books and stuff. So if I understand it correctly, you would pay $5 a month if you were a grooming victim, a grape victim, and you could talk to other grape victims about your graping and share information and swap stories. And then what she would do is charge £20 for researchers and academics and politicians to come in and look through all that stuff. So it was a giant data mining operation pretending to be victim advocacy, which was, and I'm like, she has to be autistic. She has to be. Everybody's like, what a psychopath. I'm like, no, man, psychopaths know optics. If she was a psychopath, she knows how psychopathic this sounds. She just doesn't care. But an autistic person's the one who literally goes up here and thinks this was a good idea. So I guess that theory about women never being able to have autism is kind of proven false. Now, when I told you put a pin in it, this is what I'm going to go back to. I was like, what an interesting take. She's going off about qualifications and like how she's not qualified to do this and that they need to do this, need to do this. This sounds just like the girl in high school who was like, brought the 5 different colored highlighters and did all the assignments perfectly and did exactly what the teacher told you and ratted you out if you said something weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like the striver student, the one who's just like a good little girl that does everything everybody asks of her. And then that got me into the red pill room. Hold on a second here. There's that ASMR typing for you. That's weird. It should have popped up on that one. That's fine. We'll pull it up. Now, remember when I was telling you early on about how I'm kind of like taking the abandonware and bringing it up? Well, this just so happens to be one of them. There she is. I know it's annoying to hear all my stuff clicking so loud, but honestly, the tactile feeling of mechanical keyboards and the mechanical mice, oh my god, it makes you faster and more efficient, and it prevents tiredness. I can't explain it. All right. Anyways, I think I see all your super chats now, or your messages now. Just give me a sec. So the essay is The Tangled Chains on the Swing Set of Solipsism. And it's the idea, it explains solipsism as a concept to people. It really is a seminal article. Because a lot of guys mistake female narcissism for solipsism. And a lot of women mistake empathy for solipsism. It's not. It is the opposite of empathy. Empathy is you can put yourself into another man's shoes. You can picture his mind as a separate thing to your own. Whereas women project their mind onto other people. So empaths, men generally, can put themselves in another man's shoes. Women just assume everybody is wearing her shoes. And it's amazing. When I say this, hoes mad. Hoes get so mad. And their first thought is, how dare you call me a psychopath? It's like, nobody's calling you a psychopath. That has nothing to do with any of this. It's just you cannot put yourself into, like, you have no model for the male mind. You just don't. You calling it a psychopath is just how you think of things. And you're worried about your thing, which is kind of solipsistic anyway. What did you just call me? It's like, I didn't call you anything. Now, this was written in like 2012. So this is like 15 years ago. And it was just so funny how bang on it was. I'm going to read you the section after everything I told you from Donna Reed over there. So listen carefully to how people volunteer themselves. Men will have a tendency, I think you find, to offer their help without qualification or explanation and leave their participation open-ended. What needs to be done? Women, on the other hand, will lead with their reservations and expectations, their level of participation, and explain in detail just what they can and cannot offer in terms of resources. Their perspective tends to be more, what can I do? And I thought that was just so on the nose. And I'm not meaning that as a pun. I mean that in like the literal way it's meant. Because like, that's all she was talking about. Her qualifications. Where is it going here? Reservations, expectations. To give it to somebody else who's more qualified, they can handle it. The whole thing was just so female, solipsistic. And I was like, oh, goddamn, that's interesting. And then I started looking into everything else. And it's like, no matter what we do, no matter what arguments we have, this isn't a Jewish thing. They just had a lot of anti-Semitic shit because she was Jewish. If she was black, they'd have been throwing N-bombs at her and like bananas. And if she was just a normal white chick, they'd have been calling her awful, which I can't remember what the acronym stands for right now, but I think it's like urban something white woman, or MA, middle-aged white woman, the apex predators. So this whole thing just becomes gender slop, and that's kind of what I'm annoyed by this stuff, is that now everybody's just having a men versus women argument as a proxy war. So we can't even admit to ourselves it's men versus women in this thing. But at the same time, the true victims now are the 250 girls who aren't getting any justice because all the people who are ostensibly there to spread awareness and solve problems and do advocacy are just sitting there bitching over like, oh, these dumbass men can't even write a fucking report the way the teacher wants it to. And it's like, this chick's a bitch. That's kind of where I was going with this, because I try to keep these actionable. I hate the idea of just me sitting here running my mouth, which I know, I get it. That's rich. It's not rich, but it's a good, healthy income. But I always try to tie it into something you could take home from this. And that's kind of the take home, at least for me, is that a lot of the times when people are having fights and they seem needlessly passionate and emotional, and the one side is clearly off their rocker and the other side seems somewhat reasonable, you can almost always boil it down to a proxy for gender or race stuff. Like, you know, the pit bull arguments, everybody's very, very adamant about banning pit bulls. And you're like, it's clearly a proxy. It's a proxy. I get it. All that kind of stuff. Anyway, so these free gender ones, let me see if I can find them. I don't know, man. It's just like, you give me like homework assignments with your super chats. All right. So I was inside the TV. I'm not sure if that reads right. My girl starts making noise. I say I can't hear anything with the ruckus, so she gets louder. I start singing the Beetlejuice song. She starts singing with me right in front. Oh, you're at the dinner table watching TV. All right. Okay, so I think you're trying to talk about frame. where a girl's trying to tell you something, but the TV's on, so you can't hear her. So she starts yelling and getting louder. So you start singing the Beetlejuice tune, and then she starts singing with you. I think I get what you're saying. I'm probably butchering the delivery because to me it sounds a little bit disjointed, but I get it. Frame. Okay, so affluent, white, female, liberal, there's no you. Well, that's good to know. Isn't it the ultimate female nature to make all about her feelings and nothing else matters? I mean, that's not quite accurate. I mean, you could, if you're just doing a broad stroke, absolutely. But it's, I'm going to go back to the article because I think he writes it the best. Where did it go? By the way, it's really good reading this. Oh, no, it's right near at the beginning. That's right. That's the one. The female solipsistically maintains a frame that she has herself at the center of the universe. She might be selfless, but she still has self front and center. So it really does come across as narcissism because it's like extreme. It's like nothing exists but me. I'm the only thing that exists. Me, 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 me. It's not necessarily a sense of grandiosity or like how narcissism has, where I'm the greatest or whatever. It always just has everything is reflected through the lens of what's this have to do with me? How does this affect me? How does this make me look to other people? And in fairness, women can't hunt, and women weren't able to like the hunter stuff in the hunter-gatherer societies. They were able to pick berries and they were able to stay in groups. So being hyper aware of what the group thinks of them and making sure the group approves of them was kind of a survival strategy. So in a sense, and this is going to come across as needlessly antagonistic, in a sense, this chick putting up this video laughing at the guys making the Grape Gang report is no different than that Camarlo Anthony guy stabbing the dude in the tent for putting his hands on him. We're slaves. We're slaves to our instincts. We're slaves to our genetics. What can I tell you? Bro, take a few extra. All that there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, egocentrism. There's probably a much more eloquent way to explain the difference between narcissism and solipsism. I'm not there yet, but it really is a case of, like, the best way I can do it so far is to say narcissism, which is generally the male condition, is seen as a identity creation. You create an identity. Just use alpha male here. Alpha male. You're the alpha male. And then what do alpha males do? And then you think of like all the list of archetypes and all the symbols that attach to alpha male. Bugatti, fucking hair, muscles, testosterone, 9s and 10s, bro. Like all these weird symbols. And then you use those to reinforce an identity that generally doesn't exist. And then you force everybody else to fuel it. And if they don't feel it, you spurg the fuck out. Whereas solipsism is more, it's got the same, there is no identity, I guess is the big difference. There's no identity. There is a girl there, but she only exists, and this is a very extreme example, but and the same as narcissism, but she only exists to the extent that the other people perceive her in a positive way that's good for her well-being. But who the identity is inside of that is absolutely fluid. Like this one here has gone from both an advocacy of UK grape victims to the awful that's laughing at the poor boys you didn't want to make it in academia because they used the wrong font. They didn't highlight the text properly. They didn't follow subsection 6B on the help manual on how to properly report these things. Because in her mind, this isn't about the graping. This isn't about the Pakistani rapists. This isn't about anything. This is about her following the rules. And the rules are important, even though, she's like, oh, 250 is way too much, sir. Like, at most 60. And you're like, oh, well, fuck, never mind then. Why are we freaking out about? It's only 60,000 grapes over as many years. See what I mean, though? Because then when you kind of put it in perspective, you're like, why are we having this argument? And we're not. We're not having this argument. Boys are yelling at girls, and girls are yelling at boys, because ultimately boys and girls are incompatible in certain ways, which manifest in these weird edge cases. I'm sure you've had it at the office, too. You're 100% right on this thing, getting a vendor signed on, a project finished, meeting revenue expectations for the quarter, some kind of like objective metric for success where the guy is like, this will put the company where they need to be, and this is the best course of action. And then the girl sees it through that solipsistic lens with the same thing here. You're not following the rules. You're not doing it the right way. This makes me look bad, that kind of shit. And it's so frustrating to you as a guy. But if that was the end of it, that wouldn't be a problem. You guys would have conflict and it would sort itself out. The problem is now we have an entire ecosystem that's designed to coddle one side of this argument. You can't argue with somebody in an office. Are you crazy? That's harassment. You're fired. You can't disagree and minimalize somebody like that. That's an offense against policy. You're fired. Who wrote the policy? Other chicks. And why did they write that policy? Because that's the way they perceive things. To them, they don't see anything wrong with this. And with their list of axioms, there is nothing wrong with this. It's exactly what it's designed for. How do you get out of this? I don't know. I've never been about solving the world's problems. I'm just one guy in an oversized Hawaiian shirt that's pink, drinking from a modernized red French coffee cup. The French don't even, or I guess they kind of drink coffee. There is French roast, but I'm pretty sure that's just like the colonies. I'm pretty sure France proper doesn't drink coffee. I think they drink tea, don't they? Oh no, it's wine. Yeah, I mean, essentially. Last Psychiatrist was actually really good at pointing that out, because if you look at the DSM, the problem with the DSM, I guess they're on DSM 5 or 6 right now, is the way they define it is they do two problems with defining narcissism, for example, or any disorder really. Is they give you examples and they say these aren't meant to be diagnostic criteria or diagnostic criteria. But the problem is, once you attach a label to something, people will use that label to define the thing. Which sounds weird, but it's true. Autism, until autism was designed as a disorder, nobody ever had autism. And then once you defined autism, all of a sudden more people had autism, which is standard because, like, yeah, it didn't exist. Now it exists. You're going to put some people in there. What I'm saying is, though, there's people who weren't in that behavior cluster beforehand that now that there's the term invented have gravitated towards it. What the hell is he talking about? Good example is TikTok. There was a chick with Tourette's on TikTok sitting there doing her thing, and a lot of like 13-year-old girls thought it was fucking hilarious. Oh, look at this other girl. She's got Tourette's. She keeps cussing and random stuff like that. What did they notice? There was an onset, like an epidemic of Tourette's happening amongst young women for no reason. They were looking at all these different reasons. Is it the water? Is it the oil? Is it too much migration? And it turns out it's just because all these chicks were watching her, and then monkey see, monkey do. It's kind of like that. Yeah, ADHD didn't exist until female teachers got fed up with the behavior of the boys. And that's what I mean. There's two parts to it. First part is by defining a thing, you create a thing. ADHD didn't exist. It was just boys who needed to go out and run it out of their system. Or in the case of old school stuff, they used to like whack rulers on the kids' knuckles to get them to shut up. Cut it out. Bam. You whip a kid enough, he'll stop misbehaving. Unfortunately, they have some issues later on in life, but whatever. But that's how all disorders end up getting created. People just see something that and it's a very subjective thing. It's like, this seems unhealthy. This seems bad against the status quo. So let's define, why is it bad? And then they cluster all those people together and like, what are these people doing that makes them bad? And they take all those things and like they put a border around it, call this autism. And then people start gravitating towards it because now it's a label. It's an identity. I'll give you a hint, man. Do you remember in like Ellis Island? All those Germans and Italians and French and whatever started moving to America. And then you notice how they all stopped using their German names. They picked up American names. It wasn't Franz, it was Frank. They worked really hard at killing their accents. That's why none of the Irish in America sound Irish. They sound like they're from Boston. That's the same thing here. As soon as you define America as a thing, people started acting more American. And then they became American. And now the thing that was defined as like a loose collection of colonies is now a thing. And it's like that. And I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, because obviously in the case of America, it worked out great for America. God knows I'm in Canada right now, and we don't have that. We have this stupid don't tell anybody what to do ever. And look where that's gotten us. Free shit if you building 500 million in condos, you sons of bitches. We basically got our 2007 bank bailout today, but it's condo developers. They built something like 70,000 shoebox condos, and then the market dropped like 30%, so they're all about to go bankrupt. So what the government did is just gave $500 million to all of them and a couple hedge funds. And what's happening is the developers got bailed out, so they don't go bankrupt anymore. And a bunch of hedge funds just bought a shit ton, like 500 million in condos, shoebox condos. And they were exempted from paying any tax on it, which is essentially like a 30% discount. So they got a 30% discount on this stuff, which is already under sale because condos don't sell at market prices at first. They sell on the condo's own business plan. You're basically like a VC investor for a development company, except for you're on the hook for any financial risk, which is a fucked up system. And what they're going to do is they're going to rent it at market rates to hedge their costs and then sell them in a couple years, hoping the market recovers. And I was just like, God damn it, socialism. So yeah, everybody just got a big bailout right there. Kind of annoying. Nothing to do with nothing, but hey, if I don't get to vent on my own fucking podcast, I don't get to vent. What in the sweet Jesus fake Aaron Clary shit is this? Do you take US dollars? Absolutely, sir. I don't know if that is... No, it's not real Aaron Clary, because real Aaron Clary has a wrench. Let me confirm. I can't confirm. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's fake Aaron Clary. Tisk tisk, sir. Thank you for your $2, but no thank you. ADHD can be differentiated. We react differently to stimulants. Yeah, of course we all react differently to things. Everybody's different to everything. You're kind of missing the point. The point is, once you define something, you contain it and you expand it. It's just one of those things. Like, how many things have just... Like the Macarena, when it first came out, nobody gave a shit about Macarena. And then the Macarena got big, and then everybody was doing the dance. It's just that same social contagion. It has 20 followers. And I wrenched Clary. I think Rollo said it best. The only thing that matters is whose sexual strategy is the dominant one in society. Everything else is just a tool in service of that. Yeah. That is true. The whole Commonwealth is like this. It's funny how the Commonwealth that shares an intelligence network all seems to have the exact same policies happening at the exact same time for the exact same reasons with the exact same laws passed. Kind of funny, isn't it? Interesting. But yeah, so this is meta. I get it. This is not how to fuck your wife 101. This is not how to get laid 101. This is kind of a bit of a meta one, and it's kind of one of those things like laws of power. You just kind of understand the concept, keep it in the back of your mind, and then when a situation comes up that kind of triggers that, oh yeah, it kind of helps you out in navigating it, especially if you're unfamiliar with the terrain. Oh, I see us questioning. I'll get to it in a second. So that's kind of how to take this one. There's really two theories, and once you understand them, it encompasses just about every interpersonal thing you're going to see and deal with. The first is the sexual theory, the sexual strategy, the evil psych stuff. And then the second is signaling theory. So sexual strategy, obviously intergender and intergender competition. How do I get the boys to like me? How do I beat down the other girls so they aren't in competition with me? Most things go like that. Like, you can really easily make a case that a lot of this dismissiveness from the awful women of the grooming gangs is because, like, they call it a classism thing, but that's essentially what it is. There is a bunch of upper class white women who are absolutely happy that those big boobed, hot northern working class women are getting all graped and kicked out of the sexual marketplace. competition. They like doing it. Same as guys. You can also make the case for boomers, how a lot of the older generations are basically not hiring men and they're all hiring women. If you look at corporate organizations, you're going to see a lot of this where it's like the main guy, like the C-suite and the senior directors are all men, and then everybody from manager below there is essentially a woman. They're building small harems, and it's like the beaver that you give him stuffed animals and he makes a stuffed animal dam. It's just our hardwiring. Our hardwiring kind of gears our instincts towards building a soft harem of our own. We want to get as many women options as possible, and women like to latch around the top man possible. In this case, it's organized around the idea of a hierarchical business organization, but it doesn't make the instinct any different. And that's the worst part about this, is that you can't explain it this way because nobody thinks of it that way. It's like breathing. You don't think about breathing until I've told you about your breathing. And then right now you're like, all of a sudden I'm paying attention to what I'm doing because you told me about it. But then it makes you feel bad and it makes you look bad, so you fight it tooth and nail. But it explains it perfectly. It also explains why female bosses are absolutely brutal to females underneath them. They never want those women to get promoted ahead of them, ever. Where guys are much more, it's good for the company if all the talented people rise, so they tend to be more able to mentor. Yeah. And then signaling theory. What makes me look good to the tribe, right? And that's where, like, woke was the perfect example of that. All that social justice, woke, trans stuff. Nobody really cared. But if you said it, you got treated better and you got to be included, or at least you wanted to be included, and that was a prerequisite for that. So there's a lot of people that could give two shit about trans bathroom shit that just wouldn't shut up about it because they wanted the government money. And again, they don't think about it like signaling theory, but as an instinct. You don't think about instincts. They're just instinctive. So we're going to do the super chat here. Mountain Man Tops, $4.99 super chat. Hey, Ryan. Hi, Mountain Man Tops. What are your thoughts on James Marshall's dating strategies? If I'm remembering the right guy, James Marshall was that guy. He had a 21 con speech. And it's the only thing of his that I was kind of like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Where the girl's like, doing anti-slut defense, and she's like, I'm not a slut, right? Or something to that effect. Like, I'm not a slut like that. And he goes, yeah, I could tell that about you. You got a good heart. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good line. And then the rest of his stuff was some weird, like, sneaky fucker game. And I get it, his look, the long hair, skinny guy. I'm super sensitive and shit. It's like, trying to remember the keys to the VIP character. I just remember Peaches was the athlete. But there was the other one, the guy who used to wear the Ed Hardy shit, who was like the sensitive artist. It's kind of like that archetype. It's like every one of these guys. They're all essentially derivatives from the mystery method. That's really it. Mystery pretty much solved the problem first go at it. Everybody else has made their own versions of it. Roosh made one that's like highlights for kids. It takes the easiest of everything. Troy Francis and the other Brits, they made their day game. How do you do it during the day? It's all the same concepts. It really is. So they're all the same. Having said that, I don't have a problem with them, although I do keep mistaking him for, there's a Della Roca guy or something like that. The one who did that dating simulator game. And there was like a stream where I played it on here. I don't remember where or when. But I was like so irritated at it. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I got mad. Like, he was getting all the details wrong in this game. I'm like, you fucking retard. But I always get him mistaken with the James Marshall guy. I sent early, having autism and ADHD. Only problem was my life was being naive. Other things were a problem for others because they want to be compliant, not even respecting others compliant. Yeah. Now, in fairness, and this is why it's like, it's hard to just like flat out just go against this. Not being disruptive is a good thing. Like, you can't just go walking in anybody's tent and stabbing them if they put their hands on you. We all get that. But there is a safety and bubble wrapped spectrum of this where it goes from stop being disruptive to everybody else to we need to drug him because he wants to go running outside. What's the solution to this? I don't know. Don't put your kids on pills. Don't do drugs in utero. Like, I am almost positive this epidemic of like autism is chicks told by their doctors that SSRIs are perfectly safe during pregnancy, and so they're drugged to shit. For some reason, when it was poor working class moms and blue collar people, they were telling no smoking and drinking when you're pregnant, and they made it like a campaign. But now all of a sudden, prescription medications, nah man, give her. Now we're finding out fucking Tylenol makes you autistic, SSRIs make you autistic, and the older the womb, the less defense it has against the autism chemicals. Ohio's blowing up oil tankers and dumping shit in the groundwater. Oh my god, so strange. Now all of a sudden it's an autism epidemic. Oh, it's not a real thing, it's just people. It's not like they're sleeping under power lines like the poors with their fetal alcohol syndrome. No Brittany Venti in specific here, whatever. So I think a red pill about guarded women or avoidant women, yeah. I actually have that in Prax 4. It's like every 6 months there was... So if you guys don't know what he means about avoidant women, it's attachment style, attachment theory. And I'm not the best at it. There's avoidant attachment, comfortable or secure attachment, 2 others, it's whatever. It's the idea that your formative childhood experiences change how you interact. It's better than astrology. It's about MBTI. And the problem I have with it is not that it is or is not correct. I don't think that's really relevant for the red pill side. What gets my goat about it is how you see guys once they get this information. First off, the only guys who even look at this information are men whose women don't want to fuck them. Period. So that tells you something right there. Nobody has avoidant attachment women with a nice sex life. They just don't. And so what a lot of avoidant attachment type people see is, oh, so here's something that's not her fault. It is a disease or a disorder that's outside of her as a woman. And if I can get rid of that, then I'll get the sex life that I was promised and I'll have a happy wife and no more problems. Do you see the covert contract building up from that? And as much as guys will deny it, it's like every time and it came up like every 6 months for years. I think my wife's avoidant attachment. And you'd see dumb shit. Like there was the one lawyer who did the Better Beta Divorce Guide. He also had a thing on how to desensitize your wife to your touch. The idea was she would always cringe when he tried to sleep with her. And he couldn't take that to mean anything other than, oh, this is the avoidant attachment stuff. So if I just... And he was like taking the DiCarlo escalation ladder and using that on a wife to slowly make her okay with his touch. It's like, dude, is this really where we're at? It's like, first off, the issue most likely is there a lack of attraction. Most likely. A lack of desire, a lack of sexual things. And most guys are nice and sweet and they love their wives and they treat them well, which kind of is part of the problem. You have to be a little bit of a prick. You have to have 1 foot out the door. I don't make the rules. It's just the guys who have the best sex lives tend to have that. That 1 foot out the door, the other girl that's more than happy to step in and take a spot. And girls get so mad when you say this. It's like, yeah, of course you're mad when you say this. It means you have to work for things. Do you think guys are happy at Friday night when they're like, hey, we're going to do some server changes. Just be ready for Saturday morning when the shit breaks. No, they're going to grunt and they're going to groan. It's the same thing here. The hell is all that? I got to do an ad. I just think I heard some phantom shit. Now I'm worried.
We got to start to focus on the more important stuff now. We got to shift gears here. I don't want to do these pissing contests and, well, you know, people keep talking about this bet. I mean, you guys all know this stuff already. I mean, Colty never accepted it. Colty's just like a piece of shit. I mean, basically that's what it is. He's a piece of shit. And if people want to question my honor and integrity, that's okay. Most of the people who do this stuff don't have any integrity. I'm not deleting my account because of that guy, Seth. I broke those contracts about a week and a half ago. And whatever, people are going to get pissed off at me. I don't care if they're going to get pissed off at me.
Yeah, focusing on intent is not only a recipe to build massive covert contracts, it's also inherently feminine coded. Actions over intent is more masculine behavior. All right, I got to do one more of these. I heard it again. It's bugging the shit out of me.
I've talked to Rhinestone once. I'm pretty sure the whole conversation I pushed him like pretty hard.
What was hard, Ariel?
the therapist will essentially give them SSRIs, which I think you know the sexual effects that SSRIs have on the body, right?
Some. Like,
Yeah.
there's tons of, like, MAOs and, like, tricyclics that you're talking about, like, the type of SSRIs that used to be given to pedophiles. We don't give those to men. We don't give those to men. We don't give those to men. But he's not as informed as, like, I think he would like to be. Yeah.
Figured it out. It's the goddamn dog rummaging and getting into crap. I thought it was a mugger or a rapist coming in here. It's just that goddamn dog. Incoming Ryan. There's always incoming Ryan. Anyway, so where'd I get to this? Hey, look at that. About fucking time. Good job, man. Yeah, anyway, so back to the avoidant one. So the avoidant attachments, then they have the strategies like, how can I fix her? And you notice this, it's like, it's an offloading of your own responsibility in this thing. You cannot change other people. And it's that same horrible attitude that guys have when they first get in, where like their problems are always framed as external. My wife won't fuck me. These girls won't fuck me. What can I do to make them want to fuck me? It's always that. How can I manipulate people into doing what I want? It's never, why am I not getting what I want, what I need to do? And I get the whole, but they're such pieces of shit. Maybe they're pieces of shit. But you have to ask yourself, why are they pieces of shit to you and not to that guy? Well, it's because he's this and he's this. He's all right. So is your lesson then that maybe the qualities he has, which are mostly attainable other than like height and some facial symmetry, it's basically all attainable by anybody. At least a good enough level. Well, I'm not going to get the supermodels. Do you need the supermodels? You went from 0. A harem of mids is not so bad, man. So we kind of understood that. And then you get to the guys they're married. Like, oh, it's avoidant attachment. I just got to fix that. How can I manipulate my wife, but with science and mental health in order to do what I want? And it's like, it doesn't work that way. Look, you have to look at what you're doing wrong. Or what's not even wrong. I don't want to add a value judgment. I'm going to think suboptimally. Let's go suboptimally. I think that word's might be a better pick. Oh, I'm going to be eating that one. If Governor's in here, it's going to be a fucking clip. I know it. Anyways, oh yeah, so what am I doing that's suboptimal? What is it I could be doing better? And then you'll see your list of things. And guys have mostly, for the most part, have come up with the entirety of the list. The looking better, being more attractive, acting less unattractive, things that trigger attraction triggers, things that trigger relationship comfort things, the alpha, the beta, like it's there. We've got it all figured out. I've written it down. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm fucking done. I appreciate you too, sir. And then you'll normally get a bunch of arguments too. It's like, well, that's fucking, well, but my, and you're like, okay, fine. So what we're doing now is we're just prioritizing. If you're not willing to change any of these behaviors because you value those more, then you probably should stop complaining because you've made a choice. I have chosen that I want less women in my life because I really enjoy my Funko Pop collection. Women find Funko Pops unmasculine and unattractive. Fine. Do you want your Funko Pops or do you want your sex life? Well, I'd get rid of my Funko Pops. They're worth a lot in the original packaging. You're like, all right then. We've made a choice. And that's kind of where we're at. You make a choice. And that's why I don't like the avoidant attachment stuff. It's because it ultimately kicks that choice down the road. And if I can just fix her, take her to therapy, desensitize her to my touch. Oh, she'll eventually be like, oh, thank you. My libido's back. I appreciate it, sir. And look, I know a lot of wives are cunts. I know a lot of them. I've met quite a few in my day. Thankfully, I don't have one. But I mean, that's probably why we common lawed. If she was, I would have just left. So it's like, what do you want from me? I made my decision. As long as she's making it better, I'll be around. That's fine. But yeah, a lot. And if you're ever in doubt, the internet has a wonderful ability to give everybody a voice, and all you have to do is listen. When they tell you who they are, you can just believe them. God, that dog is just scratching. Anyways. Holy shit, Sam, I haven't seen you in a hot minute, man. Every man that's not a paralyzed above the waist must build and keep perfect abs. I'm going to hard disagree on that one, but mostly because I do not have perfect abs. Nothing wrong with them. I would stop short of saying must, though. Now, what are we at here? Oh, the choices in that. So you make your choices, and then you live with the consequences. And you understand. I think the most important thing is understanding them. And that's the problem, because if you're just offloading on how can I manipulate other people, first off, not only if it worked, I'd be all for it. Oh, dude, here's how you manipulate these chicks into getting laid. Why wouldn't you be doing that? If grape was an effective and sustainable sexual strategy, unfortunately, fortunately, it's not. A, you go to jail, and nothing prevents you from getting laid, like being put in a jail full of like Muslim dudes, or I guess it's British men with memes. You're not getting thrown in jail with Pakistani men. Secondly, really good chance that a brother or a father or a cop will shoot you over it. So it's definitely not good. And I'm talking just like pragmatically. I'm not even speaking morally. Morally, I think we can all agree, probably not a good thing. Nobody likes it. Your daughter, your mom, nobody wants to see it. Your sister, fuck that. I'll be right with you in the wood chipper, man. But yeah, on a practical level, it's also not good. So you're in an amoral space, so why would you even talk about it? It's not effective. And that's the exact same level of intensity and horrificness I look at guys hyper-focused on attachment theory, which I stand by that statement. I really do think it's just as bad. The manipulation just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like a used car salesman. Not only does it not work when the other person tells that you're trying to emotionally manipulate them overtly, which people are hypersensitive to this kind of thing. You can always tell when somebody's trying to pull one on you. Not only does it not work, it tends to get you to go in the other direction and actively resist against them. So yeah, actively trying to work on your wife's avoidant attachment theory is the best way here for her to go, I don't want to fuck this guy at all. Yeah, but so this is one of those reasons I don't like the terms being used, because now that avoidant attachment has been thrown as a term, yeah, there's some people that have this, however you want to define it. But there's also a lot of people now who cling on to it as a convenient excuse, for or against. And you'll get this guy, he'll waste 2 years of his life on all these different ways of avoidant attachment theory. And I can fix it like this, and I can fix it like that, and they're wasting their fucking time. And the entire time they're doing it, they're just creating this feedback loop. She resents him for trying. He resents her for failing. And then you get two people that hate each other. And then you have stupid shit like husband murders suicide of the family kind of shit. Or wife fucks the crackhead down the street. Husband's sad and decides to, or like teacher's fucking stupid. Like all this crazy shit is usually a buildup of all these resentment feedback loops. How about just stick to the basics? Look. And this is the same attitude we put towards everything. Postpartum depression, avoidant attachment stuff, low libido. Ignore the conversation, ignore the language. What is she doing about it? Because if you had a girl that desired you, and she had a low libido or anxious attachment or postpartum or any of that shit, she would be actively doing something to fix it. But she's not. She's using it as an excuse. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know, right? Why do I need to work on this avoidant attachment theory if she's not going to work on her avoidant attachment theory and she's just using it as an excuse to avoid intimacy? I guess that's wrong, and you're not supposed to say that, and it's kind of bad. But I mean, that's kind of the attitude you need to have as a red pill guy. Oh, that sucks. It sucks to hear you have this stuff. What are you doing about it? Oh, I just need you to give me space. It's like, oh, okay. Now I see. And then you have to ask the hard questions. And that's what you're avoiding when you're trying to like fix avoidant attachment. I have to ask the hard questions. What's the hard question? Well, is it that she won't fuck me? Or is that she won't fuck anybody? Is that only the wife won't fuck me? Or is it that no women will fuck me? And then you have to do like some serious work in there to like answer those 4 questions. She's not cheating on me. She just has no sex drive. All right, well, it's not you. It's everybody. The neighbor would fuck me. She actually wants to fuck me. But the wife won't. Okay, so you know it's her. And then it kind of gives you an answer. You have a woman who just does not want to have sex. Is that important enough for you to break the family unit up? Or is that important enough for you for a divorce? Is that important enough for you to have kids on the weekends or 50% custody or any of this shit? And then again, it all boils down to a preference. What kind of life would I prefer? I always add the nice pithy statement, it's better to be a 100% dad 50% of the time than a 50% dad 100% of the time. And I stand by it. As a child of 2 divorces, As a child of 2 divorces, I can say the most miserable times I had as a child were not after the separations, but they were definitely before the separations, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying this is like some trauma dump shit. I'm just saying if I had to rank the years, 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Tylenol Americans. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's not. I mean, in Prax 4, I have it down. I like the whole last half of it. It just made sense. I was talking about how Chad's dealing with the sexual strategy, and that was one of the ones that they had too. They were attractive. They used to be able to get lots of women, and then they get this problem with their wife not wanting to have sex, and I'm an attractive guy. Avoidant attachment was the ego-saving way to kind of square that circle. Well, I'm hot. Why doesn't the wife want to fuck me? Oh, it's got to be a medical problem. How can I fix this medical problem? It's like, you don't. She fixes it. And if it's an excuse, she won't fix it. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know. Yeah, 250,000 grapes, man. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot. Some of the stories in that report, you ever read them? Like, Dad, I guess one of the girls got taken into a thing, and they were having their way with her. Dad went in there, started kicking in doors to go get them. Cops took him out of there, arrested him, told him, don't go back or we're going to charge you for trespassing. Let him go. Dad went back there to go break in. They took him again. It's like, look, we're going to fucking throw you in jail now. He's like, well, how do I get my daughter out of there? It's like, you don't. And I was like, that's fucking horrific, man. Oh, look at this. Asmund Gold read the whole thing on the stream. I'm going to have to start watching this guy. I always took him as like the autistic NEET who plays Warcraft or whatever, but apparently now he's going pretty based. Oh, Jesus Christ. Brittany Venti made a 12-minute video on me. That's how bad the economy is. Hey, you and Roosh V are Eskimo brothers. Online Eskimo brothers. Congratulations, sir. You've joined the illustrious group of people that Brittany Venti has done hit piece videos on. You know what? I'm always a lucky man. I always managed to avoid all this shit. I never got on that DHS, Department of Homeland Security, misogyny list like Rollo and Rich and them. There was that whole any of these honeypots or any of these hit piece things, I never get included with the list, and I'm perfectly happy to fly under the radar. It's like being that guy in, what's the war movie again? Saving Private Ryan, when they lower down the boat and then machine gun hits the dude right there. It's like, I'm always this guy, and that guy getting like, oh. It feels good, man. What are we doing, man? I know, back in the day, it would be Matt Walsh making a segment on me. And that's high quality, good economy content. But now Venti doing an anti-nuke piece that just screams recession. Screams recession. Anyways, I was going to bitch about Canada now. So if you don't like hearing me complain about how bad Canada is, now's the time to tune out. I'd strongly suggest you don't, though, because it's fucking hilarious. Our opposition guy, our guy, Pierre, is like, we're in a recession? This is not good. And then the news, which is paid by the liberals, are like, what do you mean we're in a recession? That's hate talk. Making shit up. And he goes, by the definition in the book that you guys signed, it says 3/4 of negative GDP growth is a recession. And we've had like 10 now. Pretty sure this is a recession. Like, well, it's a technical recession, but it's not a vibe recession. And we're having this stupid argument over whether the economy's bad. And everybody's like, dude, were you not around in 2020? And of course, these are government workers. They have no idea what a recession is. They're completely detached from it. How do I know this? Because I used to be a government worker. When I was in the military and you heard about like the horrors of the 2007 housing crisis, we did not see a peep from that. We had no idea what was going on. Yeah, the economy being bad for grifters is good news to me. It's just like any ecosystem, man. Any ecosystem. When life is abundant, and the flowers open up, you get all kinds of crickets and dinosaurs and marmosets, and the diversity grows and everybody's making stuff, and then the asteroid hits and stop making the plants and everybody starts eating each other, and the strong will survive, man. And some of us are strong because they're the biggest accounts that have the biggest things, but sometimes the biggest things in the economy cost too much, so they die off. I'm the little rodent. We're just survivors, man. We're just sitting here nibbling away, and it's like we don't need a lot. So when the food supply goes, we just scavenge a bit harder. We'll be fine. But yeah, all these mid-tier ones that took to be super famous. Lauren Southern's been cashing out on all of the drama surrounding all the retards that lost out in the last extinction level event, and I think that well is pretty much run dry, or maybe it hasn't. I don't know what her revenue numbers are, but I have a feeling if they were that good, she'd be going on more publicity stuff. And now it's more so like, woe is me, the article. Goddamn rights, I'm the cockroach. You can't kill me, motherfucker. Actually, Anthony Johnson's the cockroach, but I like to consider myself the little rat. You know the little rat that eventually turned into people? When the dinosaurs all died off, there was just that one little dinosaur rat, and that was the only thing that survived. It's like, that's us. Goddamn rights. Yeah, I guess you give him a couple $1 million, he turns conservative and gets his shit together. Who'da thunk? I like watching it. I like seeing all this misery. It's good. It kind of lets you know. It lets you know anything's possible. And there's always two signs I looked at. When I see a retard doing well, it gives me hope. He can do it. I can do it. And then the other part is when I see retards fail, like on their own, like not because of anybody else's fault, but because of their fault. Because then I'm like, oh, good. That explains why failure happens. You know that stat? Like 85% of restaurants fail within the first year. And then you start meeting business owners and you're like, oh, I kind of get why. I kind of get why. Yeah, well, termites are cockroaches in numbers. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, that's what you get with modern Diogenes, which is so funny because I think PewDiePie considers himself the modern Diogenes, which he's not. Harem of mid. Fucking guys. So I don't know. When I see this stuff and it's kind of like, and I look, from a content creator perspective, I'm always on guard about the topics I pick. So this one about the grooming gangs, now it's basically gender slop and sexual marketplace stuff. I'm like, it's a bit of a stretch to my normal content, but I always worry about hitting two things with you guys. And I know you can't help. You'll just do audience capture and you'll drag me down with you, which is fine. The first one is what I would call like Men's Health Magazine syndrome, where you have to make content every week. And so every week you basically say the same thing. Like every article now becomes 6-pack abs, cannonball arms, broad shoulders, 6 better exercises. And it's all the same article recycled week in and week out. And I could do covert contracts, assertiveness, and the same like women will fuck you at the finish line, pablum, and everybody knows it. And it doesn't really say anything, but it sounds good. And I don't want to go that route. But then the other route is the GQ, where it's like all of a sudden everything is conspiracy wrapped and you have to like go down these weird rabbit holes. And I've seen both, man. I've seen both. I've seen in the Red Pill where you get guys where they just stick to their series of catchphrases. You got your Kevin Samuels, and it was always like women deserve less. And I don't remember the rest of his, or Coach Red Pill. And they all just said the same thing every time. It was like a pep rally. Just say the line, Bart. I didn't do it. That kind of shit. And I hate that. And then you would watch guys like Gay Lou Boyle or 88 Will 88. And you guys don't know these names. They're long gone, and that's fine. But they eventually turn this into like reading a Vola, talking about Hitler and coming back. And like, what the fuck is this? Like, what does this have to do with the fucking red pill? Like, oh, it's because you guys, once you get this far, you have to go further. And it's like, no, you're just bored and you're a perpetual student and you always want to keep learning more and you want to keep drinking from the fire hose, because as long as you're doing that, you don't actually have to apply of anything what you learned. And then from a content creator perspective, it's just out of pure lack of imagination, lack of ability to create something new and interesting out of the stuff, a lack of an ability to move on, or maybe even just a lack of willingness to repeat yourself. And I'm terrified of both. I would much rather just leave than be the 6-pack abs or this is the JQ guy. So, your grandma's a hoe. Yeah, like a studio set, exactly. And here I was wanting to make a fitness essay next week. I mean, do what you want. I told Nuke this, was it Nuke? No, Stripper I told this to, where he was writing an article on getting your shit on lock when your wife's pregnant. It's his new Substack article. Go, if he's here, put a link up to it, whatever. And we were talking about it before, where I was kind of like, I mean, I just don't, like, I don't see how it applies to the red pill side of things. Like, it's not a sexual strategy, positive male identity thing. It's more just like logistics. So it's kind of out of scope, but it's useful. And he's like, I know Ryan will approve when he wrote this thing. And I'm like, who fucking cares if I approve? Like, I'm not some authority. I'm just some guy. That's literally it. I'm just a guy who got hyper fixated on a single thing, applied it a bunch, have a decent set of skills that allows me to use it to like entertain and inform. That's really it. In the only sense that I am influential or like authoritative is just because I've been here. Like I know what I'm doing. But if I talk shit and don't know what I'm doing, somebody could easily just say, who the fuck are you? This is totally wrong. And that's fair. I might get mad. There's always the cooking content. Fucking guys. Having said that, I have not made the crepes one yet, and that's got to be one of the easiest recipes to make for anything as a crepe. If you guys don't know how to make crepes, by the way, absolutely. The trick is, it's a pancake recipe, but with equal parts water and flour. So it becomes thinner, and a little touch of sugar just to sweeten it up a little bit, and it helps it bind together. And then you make super thin, and then what you do is you just basically put whatever you want inside of it, something savory, something sweet, and it becomes like the tortilla of the French. Yeah. But yeah, and I always make it a point of pride to never be like, treat me as like, oh, I hope Ryan approves. Like, don't ever ask that. I can completely disagree, and that has almost no bearing on how useful your article is. Because if I disagree and I have a reason, and I can articulate the reason, and the people reading it agree with that reason, then yeah, most likely I'm right. But if I have a reason, and the reason's my own personal bias, people are going to disagree with it, and therefore I'm wrong. So any authority, which is the stupidest word ever to use when regarding to red pill space, any authority I may or may not have has zero to do with how good or effective people's content is. It really is. I read the entire syllabus, some of a couple times, still thirsty, went looking for more content. Now I see through the shit, have no issues getting laid, and can't believe how blind everybody is. You have what they call former fat man syndrome. You know the one? You're a fat guy, you lose a bunch of weight, and then you turn around like, these fat fucks. I'm tired of these. Lose weight. Get another cookie into you, fatty. And I'm not saying this to mock you. I'm saying this because it's actually very common. Once you sort out your shit, and I'm assuming you have. You said you have, so why would I disbelieve you? You've sorted out your shit. When you see other people who have not sorted out their shit, it irritates you because they remind you of what you used to be. All do it. We all have it. And I don't want to say you have to learn forgiveness or anything like that. It's just kind of you have to understand why you have a visceral reaction to the blindness of everybody else. It's because it reflects on that it used to be you. Like, you could be this. And that bothers you. And it should bother you. In fact, the fact that it does bother you is the reason that you probably won't end up like that again. So it's a good thing. But once you understand that that's why these fat people are driving me so fucking nuts, you can kind of let it go, and you're like, all right, just, like, fatty, just beat it. And you don't spurg out so much. There's a certain thing about, and remember before how I was talking about how when you define a thing, you kind of create a thing? It's the same thing here. I've now defined why you're having a hard time believing how blind everybody else is. And now that you know that, and I hate using the language too this way, but it works, it's you normalize the concept in your head, and now you don't have an emotional reaction to it, which is hilarious because that was a Jordan Peterism back when he still made sense before he did all the drugs and before his daughter whored out his career. It was something he said during like the lectures right at the very beginning, where it was when you have, and it linked and went parallel with the red pill stuff so well. It's what they call convergent evidence. I loved it. And he goes, yeah, if you're having an emotional reaction to a memory or an event, it's because you haven't processed the event yet. You don't understand the event. Once you've processed it, once you understand it, the emotional aspect of your reaction to it kind of goes away. Which is true. And so it's one of those things. And we actually came up with a term for it. At the time, we called it a residual anger phase. Which sounds weird, but it makes sense. Because you know the anger phase. It's you're mad. You have a grievance and you have a pain point. My wife left me and they took the kids. They took half my shit. This girl rejected me and embarrassed me. They got me fired at work because I had a meme. Like all of that shit. So yeah, you're mad and you're angry. And you take steps because that anger increases your neuroplasticity. Your neuroplasticity is what allows you to learn new things, create new mental models, have new ways of looking and perceiving the world. Frame your worldview. Changes, adapts, learns, improves, and then everything kind of solidifies in place. You kind of settle down, The anger phase goes away, you think, and you got your shit together now. You're getting laid, you're having fun, your wife's not a bitch. And then you start seeing people that were like how you used to be, and you're still mad about it. Or that 6 months of being an unsufferable asshole phase where all you people treated me like shit for so long. It's time for some revenge. Fuck you, I'm a cocky bitch. There's like a bunch of that, and that's all residual anger. And it goes away too. That one you just wait it out. It's really it. Understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then just give it time. Like, of course you're going to be angry as a former fat person when you see fat people. Because they're fat. And getting fat bothered you so much you lost all the weight. So when you see somebody else getting fat, it bothers you too. And eventually you're just going to let it go. So just fucking go through the process. Rollo has a great topic of discussion on Rule 0 for discussion this morning. Oh, that'll be good. I'm going to try to sneak into this one too. I'll probably be a little bit late because I want to have some lunch first because I'm fucking starving. That's the one shitty thing about having like a first thing in the morning on Saturday podcast, because if you're drinking with the old lady on Friday, you're out and about, you get in, you're waking up, I'm dead tired. It's like, just get some coffees into me and put me in front of the mic, man. Let's roll. It's another reason why these Hawaiian shirts are great. I don't have to iron them before the cast. My God, I don't miss ironing. I'm good at ironing. I'm a very domestic little hoif, but I fucking don't want to iron anymore if I don't have to. Outstanding. Every time Nikita and Elon's Twitter piss me off, they do something like this and totally redeem themselves. I saw that one too. Yeah, it was some guy bitching about his Twitter payouts, and the guy's like, well, all you do is steal content, so we're just going to demonetize that shit right away. There we go. Crescent Slice. Dude, long time no here. 2052. $10.69 super chat. Hey. 420.69, bitches. What you said is so true. I used to be 300 pounds. Now that I'm 200, I hate the fatties. Oh, dude, yeah, I used to sail with a guy like that. My PMC. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but he's like the mess mom. Which, funny enough, I met my old lady through his old lady. Introduced through her, so that's pretty cool. He used to be a fat guy, and then he lost a bunch of weight and became thin. And he's just yelling at him. Doesn't no care. Fuck you, you fat fuck. I was like, holy shit, man, we're at work. What are you doing? Fuck him. Burn off the alcohol in the fasted state. I mean, technically, I don't drink much anymore either. That's the worst part. It's like 2 drink on the weekend, and I'm like, oh, I'm done. I don't know what it is, man. I think it's because I went so long. Like every time I do a cut, I just stop drinking, and then every time it starts up again, like you have to warm up to drinking. You can't just go from not drinking and then have like a 6-pack and be cool with it. It's like, yeah, you can have like a drink, and you're like, oh, I'm pretty buzzed. That's good enough. And then you have to work up to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, and then by the time I get to like 3 on a weekend, I'm like, I need to go on another cut. Then I go back to not drinking, and now it's at the point where like 1 drink and I'm fine. But for some reason, I can drink like a liter of coffee, and like this right here, this is like 2 Red Bulls worth of G Fuel. I have like a liquid caffeine I pour into this stuff, and I can just chug this at night and go to bed. It's hard to say. I mean, does it really matter? To be fair on this one with like the Asmongold just getting red pill thing, a lot of guys do the same stuff we do. They just don't attach the name to it. We don't have a monopoly on guys getting their shit together. Often, some of the best people we learn from are guys who, in a siloed personal experiment, sort their shit out. I'll give you an example. Dead Bedrooms. Remember that subreddit, Dead Bedrooms? The biggest cry box of unfucked retards in the history of Earth? Every now and then, somebody will be in there and sort some shit out with the most red-pilled shit you've ever seen, knows nothing of any of it. I mean, not as much anymore, but back then, I remember this one guy it was something like 6, 7, 8, 9 months of his wife just not only not putting out, not only not wanting to put out, but actively shaming him for it. And I guess he at one point, and he was sitting there and they're all like, oh, try communicating more. Oh, it's a low libido, avoid an attachment. He tried all that shit. And finally he's like, you know what? Fuck. And I don't remember what it was. Oh, she crop dusted him. That was the one. I knew it took me a minute. So he was just sitting there and she walked by and she crop dusted him and thought it was funny. And I guess, and I find it so hilarious that is the moment. That is the John Wick's dog getting murdered for this guy. This wife who doesn't do shit, she doesn't put out, she gives me shit for doing it, just fucking crop dusted me. And I guess he got up and he was fucking done. He started going to the gym every day. He started working out like a madman. He started running. He started eating right. He started losing weight. He went out. Wife wanted to spend time. He's like, I'm busy. I gotta go. Basically ghosted his wife. And she had a fucking panic attack. She's doing her own thing. He just didn't care. And then it was like a year into this self-improvement journey where he basically became like just over it. Almost like not a eunuch, but you know what I mean. And he goes, I don't get it. And now he's looking at divorce. He's like, I'm fucking out of here. And he goes, how come once I basically stopped giving a shit about my wife, once I'm basically ready to ditch her ass, all of a sudden she becomes more affectionate? And it was the funniest story because, like, ho's mad, man. Ho's mad. People were accusing him of being red pill of something. And he's like, what the fuck is red pill? What are you talking about? And it was so funny because he was just oblivious to all of this stuff. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. And he did a follow-up one on it. And he goes, all right, I looked into this stuff. And these people are misogynists. This is wrong. Whatever. It's like, well, you just kind of became its cheerleader, man. I don't know what to tell you. I want to call it Rich Cooper syndrome, and I don't mean this as a slight. You know, Rich, I love him as a brother, good friend of mine, and he's stuck in Ontario with the rest of us. But I read his new book. It's good. It's better than his first one, and he hates the red pill. His reasons, absolutely valid. His reasons for hating the red pill is he hates retards within the red pill, which he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But if you read his book, and when it comes to like entrepreneurship, sex, divorce, all that stuff, I would argue, it's still new, but I would argue it's one of those things that I could see in a couple years somebody going, that should be on the sidebar. Dr. Sean Smith, Rich's former co-host, another great example, hates the red pill, cannot stand any of this shit. And kudos to him. Rollo's got his reasons for it. He's got his reasons for it. I'm not even going to get involved in those reasons. They're valid to him, and that's all that counts. His tactical guide to women is on the fucking sidebar. When I was writing Dread, one of my favorite references was a character whose pen name was Fuck Married Red Pill. There is just something about where a space's most useful members are the space's worst, like, biggest haters. I fucking hate this space is like the rallying cry of somebody about to drop the best content you've ever seen. And I honestly take inspiration to it. And in fairness, I really can't stand the red pill either. So they're not wrong on that. I can't stand it either. I just have a much more cynical and jovial way of expressing it. Whereas Rich would drop What I Hate About the Mana Swamp and then bounce. I'm sitting in here making content, making fun of all the fucking thought leaders of it. Poking fun at Rollo for the flagpole. Love him like a brother too. I think it's hilarious. Yeah, but the attachment theory guy would tell me they have push-pull dynamic and it flipped. I mean, they'll tell me that. But people say a lot of shit. They just talk. Yeah, because you're exposed to so many retards, you want to kick them through the internet. It's not even that. It's just kind of like I'm pretty jaded already. I'm very cynical. But for me, I kind of take the approach of, yeah, this guy is a retard, but what does this mean for my property value kind of approach? How does this affect my investments? Which is mostly why I left the Anthony Johnson thing, which is, I haven't talked about this in a while, so I know we always do, and I'm promising it's like a little gossipy, whatever. We were doing the Red Man group, which was the original Red Pill podcast panel thing we did, which Rule Zero has now become part of. And we had a meeting on one. It was me, Donovan, Carl, Rollo, Troy, Anthony. I don't remember if anybody was there or not. Anyways. So Anthony had the channel, he hosted it, all the revenue went to him. He's like, guys, I feel really bad. Like, we're basically taking 1,000 hours of your guys' time collectively over the year. I'm going to work this out to a system to where everybody gets paid, like contractors, something like that. And he was very conciliatory and very, like, felt bad, and he wants to make things right. And this is not a slight on Rollo. He honestly had the best intentions there. I just remember This was like about 6 months after I got laid off from a startup I was working for. And I was like, this speech sounds really fucking familiar, man. I came in on a company, and then right as I got in, they laid off like a third of the workforce. And then they gave me a speech. It's like, hey guys, this is going to be great. I promise now we can all be just safe, worry about building. We're like a family here. And all like that same speech. And then sure enough, second round of layoffs came in like 6 months later. I was like, oh, I get that speech. So as soon as I heard that speech, I went and created this one. I created this podcast specifically because of that. Like, look, there is no way I'm going to see a dime out of that one. Something's going to happen. I don't know what, but I am not in a position where I can work against my vision. And I've told you guys since the start, my vision was always to never put myself in a position to be taken for granted or taken advantage of. And I'm like, this position seems very able to take me for advantage or take me for granted. In other words, the not being able to get paid. And it's not even like I don't trust that they want to. It's just that it's possible not. And so I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm building my own thing. I'll put it on. I think it was like right before or right after. Probably right before. It's the same as my speech at the 21 Con. I always took like the Saturday morning speech, which is like the least popular time slot. Everybody kind of picked their time slots. And I'm like, that's the time slot nobody wanted. I'm like, I'm taking it. Because the way I see it, if you're at a masculinity convention and you're showing up Saturday morning at 9 in the morning, you're probably there because you want to get something done. Most people are there because they want to have a friend and they want to go party and they want to feel together as part of a group. And they're the ones that go partying Friday night and Saturday night. They're the ones that sleep in till 10 or 11. No, I wanted people who were actually invested. And sure enough, there's like a third of the crowd was maybe there. But that third of the crowd were awesome people. And to this day, I still remember, man, this guy Reyes. Out of all the people at that convention, that's the one guy that stuck with me this entire time. Like, I can't get the thought of him out of my head. The first year when I went up there, and I'm talking like, when I walked up to the desk, I'm like, yeah, I'm here for the convention. They go, you don't have your bracelet. And I'm like, no, I'm not a guest. I'm speaking. They go, oh, you're Ryan. It's like, yeah. Like, that's how nobody I was. Even the people in the space, like, who the fuck are you? And I went and I did it. And then I finished, and then I went and sat down. I think Ed Lattimore, Tanner Guzzi, Joe Navarro were going on next. All great, by the way. And this guy, Reyes, walked up to me, and he looked really sad. And I was like, what's up, man? He goes, I'm sorry. I wanted to catch your thing. I missed it. I really wanted to. And he's like very apologetic. I'm like, don't worry about it. And then he started going into like a personal TMI kind of story. I guess he had gotten with a hooker the night before, and then like this, and I'm not like the details don't matter, but it was basically a giant sob story, and he felt horrible and he hated himself for it. And I realized it had nothing to do with me. He didn't know who the fuck I was until like an hour later or an hour ago. And so I just kind of said something, and it wasn't dismissive, and it wasn't like, oh, I feel your pain, man. I'm like, look, we all make choices, and it was something to the effect of like, we all make choices. You're here to make better choices. So you're going to make better choices. Just give yourself the leeway to admit you're going to make mistakes, and then, you know, make better ones next time or something. And it was very matter of fact. I remember that. Anyways, the next year did the conference again, and he went in and found me out. And it was so crazy. He had lost like a whole bunch of weight, and he had gone from wearing like cargo shorts and a t-shirt that was all like covered in turkey, like that kind of shit, like slovenly look. And he had dressed up in like a suit. It looked like a prom suit, but it's a step up from where he was. Like the shiny satin tie and all that stuff. So like, man was making an effort. Man was getting there. And I'm like, holy shit, I barely recognize you. How much weight he lost? Like 120 pounds. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And he still wasn't getting laid as much as he wanted to, but he was making progress. Like, he was looking better. He was acting better. He was healthier. He was more social. Got his hair cut, got trimmed. He was talking to girls, and he wasn't quite getting laid where he needed to be. And then I saw him again, I think the third year too. Like, we're about to, and he followed me on Twitter, and I kind of kept up with him, and it was just nice. And that's the one thing I think about to this day, is that guy watching just a bunch of us fucking retards doing our thing, and like seeing him every year substantially better than the year before. And I don't see these guys often. There's very few Reyeses here, some mostly from the workshop. Some of them are even in chat here, but I like those guys, and I always see them, and I always try to keep them in the back of my mind. It's probably one of the more rewarding things about this space. And that's the other reason why I'm not having up my problem with the Mano Swamp things, because it's like, it's kind of the same as the military. You work with a lot of fucking morons. My captain used to call them flopcocks, which I think is the hilarious term. It's such a 70s thing to say. The fucking flopcocks. We used to call them thud fucks. But I mean, either way, useless, skaters, skives, waste of space, lazy, entitled, welfare queens, whatever you want to call them, doesn't really matter. But there was a couple sailors that were really switched on. Heck, I even wrote an essay about the one. My old boss, Laz. He had his funeral 2 years back. Turns out he was having his funeral in Toronto. I had a buddy from Halifax call me, told me to show up, and I went down there, and it was so fun. It was so good. I saw like a very good story out of it. It's one of my favorite stories I've written that nobody else reads, because it turns out the same inspiration he was military-wise, like to put up with no shit, do your job 100%, very authoritarian, but as long as you were good, it was fine. And he was gay. So he had 3 groups of people showing up to his funeral, which is fucking hilarious. There was like friends and family, there was military, and then there was the gay group. And I laughed because the friends and family with all the wives and strollers, they were like being very Nazi-like towards their husbands, like sit here, do this, hold this, do this. So it's like his family was very military. And then the gay guys were like his family. All of them hanging out, all dressed fabulous. But then the military guys were extremely gay. Because they were like fucking up marching, they were fucking up orders, their uniforms were all done wrong. I was like, holy shit. And I just thought that whole swapping of the roles thing was absolutely hilarious. If you were invited to a 26 or 27 convention, would you go? I understand the main guy is a full-fledged megatard, although I'm just curious. I mean, if he paid up front. Like, look, drama, annoyance, this was all interpersonal shit, right? But you best believe I'm not getting paid COD, cash on delivery. No. Pay me up front, and I'll be there. Because look, you don't have to like the people you work with. You don't. You just have to trust the people you work with. And if you don't trust the people you work with, they pay first. That's really it. Ed throws all sorts of shade at the RP now. Yeah. But again, Ed, it's the same as Rich, man. It's the same as Rich Cooper. They are red-pilled. They don't like the people who say they're red-pilled. And I can't say I blame them. I can't say I blame them. Plus the fact that, like, you got to remember, Ed's kind of more mainstream right now. He's got a Penguin House publishing deal. He's got a mainstream book out right now. He has to appeal to the normal world. If anything, I think it would be a bad move for him to not distance himself from the red pill. I think he personally should. Why the fuck wouldn't you? Isn't the whole point of this to get what you need and get the fuck out? So Ed got what he needed. Ed got the fuck out. And everybody's mad at him? It's like, come on, man. It's in the fucking thing. The cast iron. We always pat ourselves in the back. It's the cast iron and fucking blah, blah, blah. You buy it once, you never need it again. Get it and get the fuck out. Who's left since then? Rich left. Carl left. Ed left. Dr. Sean Smith left. All 4 of them fucking doing great right now. Doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Having any ill will towards this stuff is like a fool's errand. What about you and Rolo? You're stucking around after all these years. Yeah, because we're stupid. Because we're stupid and we don't give a fuck. I don't need social approval. I'm doing just fine on book sales. I don't need a Penguin House publishing deal. I don't need to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I'm doing just fine with the system I have in place right now. And one of the things that would scare me and terrify me if I had to get like a PR firm like Peterson or whatever, and they're like, yeah, you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't say that, and then I'm getting taken for granted and I'm getting taken advantage of, and I've already told you at the beginning, I'm not doing that. So I'm a perfect example. I can show you, like, you can carve out some shit here and do just fine. You may not be a millionaire, but that's fine. You really need to be one anyway. The Canadian stock market's all fucked up anyway. With inflation the way it is, I'll be an accidental millionaire just watching inflation deflate the value. Be like a Zimbabwean trillionaire. Fuck that. Ed Lattimore? He's a former boxer, Golden Gloves champion, raised in the hood. I guess black guy goes without saying. Although if he was a white crackhead raised in the hood, that'd be pretty impressive. You know that boy's seen some shit. Yeah. But again, this stuff too. Like, look, a lot of this drama, I'm hyping it up. I don't care as much as I let on. Like, George Bruno does not occupy a massive amount of my brain space, nor does Anthony Johnson, nor does Not So Erudite. I'm looking through the list of all the videos I've got. I'm like, nor that Emily chick or Tate or Jack Murphy or any of these people. But it's really good entertainment. Like, it's better for me to give a shit about Matt Walsh when I can use that to push this.
I don't usually post pictures of my kids online, but they're infants and you can barely see them, so, you know, it's fine. But a YouTuber named Ryan Stone tweeted, showing off the F trophies for clout. So the babies are trophies that I'm showing off. It's perhaps not a surprise that a picture of a proud father would be so upsetting to the sort of man who clearly never had one.
You are a fucking moderator of a YouTube channel, young man. Moderate your
Young
fucking
man.
channel like a goddamn man. Wise the fuck up.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
All right, that's all I got for you guys. As always, Ghost of Odessa, now in bookstores everywhere that's Amazon. On Kindle, on paperback, on hardcover. It's not on audio yet. I don't have that recorded. It's on my to-do list. I'll get there. Buy it with the box set. You get Softbone and that. Dave, I haven't forgotten about you. I had orders. I had to get some new copies printed up because I ran out. So I'm going to get you to yours. Thank you for supporting the Kickstarter. I want to. The problem is now video content's very hard. So it's like, I've got a few spurgouts on Substack, but just somebody writing a mean comment with their 60,000 subscribers doesn't cut it. And now that Matt Walsh got fired or let go of the Daily Wire, there's nobody out there making trad hit pieces on me. I hate to say it, boys, but I may just be too likable to be hated in the long term. The Odessa audiobook is when I record it. It's probably going to be, what month is it now? June? Probably September, October. That's my assumption. And then the new book, I don't know. It's slower going than the other ones, but it is White Boy Summer, so that's kind of on me. But my goal is to get 4 books out this year. So I have had Prax 4 and Ghost of Odessa out so far this year. At the end of the year, I've already got a Red Pill 1 planned. Somebody was asking about that earlier, so I'll tell them there. It's not... I don't think it's going to be a praxeology book. It's not going to be Dread, Frame, Field Reports, or even the Chad has problems. I think it's something going to be more like Christopher Hitchens' letters from Contrarian kind of style to it. Because I realize there's a huge grab bag of stuff that doesn't really make the cut in any of the other books. And there's not really enough of it for there to be a coherent narrative structure. So it might be a pithy collection of aphorisms and letters. The same thing I said Jack's On Woman book was about, so we'll see. I don't know. I heard a rumor. And if rumors sound good to me, I always take them as absolute fact. Currently burping my fuck trophy. Hey now. That's your child, good sir. That's your child. You can't be calling them fuck trophies. Fuck trophies are only for people who make them online. Yeah, a couple more $5 super chats. And that's the one problem is, like, who am I gonna provoke now into spurging out? Clavicar? He's doing meth and shooting gators. Like, what am I gonna do to embarrass a guy who has no shame? Same thing as Milton there, Myron. He's dressed up as a Jewish dude doing like anti-Semitic memes. Talking about how graping white chicks is a good... Like, what am I going to do to that guy to embarrass him? There's nothing I can do. I think I've got a video that I could do of the one where they complained about being broke and then showed how baller they were, which I think was kind of funny, but it's never a thing. And I don't know. That's the problem. Unless I get, like, Jack or Nuke to spurg out, it's all going to be... And they're not going to spurg out because they got frame. Yeah, we'll see. If you guys got any ideas, I tell you what, over the next little bit, if you see people that take themselves entirely too seriously, are absolutely retarded, and are very easy to provoke, or at least somewhat difficult to provoke, but provocable, drop a name for me. I'll take a kick at the can. Whatever. Worst case scenario, we get what's that stupid podcast Jack likes of the girls that talk about how much dick they take? Maybe I'll get one of them to spurg out on me on a video segment. That'd be all right. Did he stop collabing? I mean, nobody stopped. We just kind of... That's the other thing. Like with Rule Zero, the reason it's always been like a rotating cast and people come and people go, it's because everybody has shit to do. And that's kind of a good thing. If nobody had shit to do except for the podcast, then could you really proclaim yourself to be red-pilled? Nobody has any projects. Nobody has something cool on the work on the go. It's like, yeah, everybody has shit to do. John had courses. Troy had courses. They're doing movies. They're doing their thing. So, of course, they're going to move on to focus on that. It's making more money. Rollo went to go focus on Ignite, left for a year, did his thing, came back. It's whatever. People come, people go. And it's better that way. Is that Jack's one or is that... No, that's Jack's one. Rob is Salt Lake sit down. When Nukesburg's I'm going online. Yeah. Yeah, Myron fell into thinking your comments section is right. And don't get me wrong, like, he got tempted more. When they were giving him like $30,000 a stream on that, you have to really have a strong frame to put up with like people wanting you to be Jerry Springer and deciding to still say no. He just wasn't strong enough for it. Which is weird because the Sudanese, you think, make wonderful child soldiers. So you think he'd be very good at being able to hold his own against a mob of unruly guests and people. But hey, what do I know? Anyways, that's it on this one. Do give it a read, though. Look, you see how I talk and how I do my art and how everything's kind of layered and there's subtle nods and jokes and inside stuff. And it's as complex as you want to make it, but as simple as you want to make it. The one compliment I got, which was great from John, I don't know if he's still here or not, but yeah, he was just like, it was great. In a land of reading 1,000-page books of people with slow-paced slog, it was nice to have something that didn't waste my time, quicker paced, and got to the point. And I preferred to have a density of ideas and themes and tones and symbols as opposed to a breadth of it, because then you can read it a second time. It's like Covert Contract Attorney was doing. He's reading it twice. First time he read it, kind of caught the big points. Second time through, he started picking out subtle details. I like that. That's double bang for your buck. That's 2 books for the price of 1. I didn't, though. That's just it. The Whatever podcast, you can't mock clowns for acting like clowns. They're trying to be clowns. That whole thing is them being a clown. I always talked about it. It's like the end of the Warski years. The same thing. When people start acting shameless and acting like they have no shame and debasing themselves for social currency, it's the end times, man. All you're waiting for is a recession and knock people out. Because that's all they have to trade up on is their dignity. I have no dignity, so I'm going to come here and trade my lack of dignity for your entertainment, and it's a depreciating asset. Hey, about Odessa on Kindle, it's in the lineup. Good man. I guarantee you won't regret it. I don't know what you have before Odessa on your reading list, but unless that one's a nice snappy read, you're probably going to love this as like a palate cleanser. I will catch you guys on the next one. I guess, is Rollo hosting this one? I'll find out. I'm in the group chat. I don't know where to link it to, so just do your thing. Alyssa was playing with me like a science experiment. What are you doing? I've never seen one from a dark guy before. It's usually pink. She continued examining me as if David Attenborough were narrating.